Hi friends, welcome back. I'm Christy with Stitches by Christy, and today I am here to show you how I make these adorable little pattern weights. These are a no-sew project, but just because I call them pattern weights doesn't mean that anybody can't use them. These make great paper weights. They make really cute just decorations. If you get ones that are light enough, you could turn them into magnets. Just really whatever, and then you can use the same process for other things too. You could make coasters or whatever. So this will just be a fun little starter project. The kids will have a ball making them, so it's a great family project too. Get out a Christmas movie and sit down and make them together. So what you need for these, you need Mod Podge. This is the kind I use. You can get this, the satin, you can get the matte. That honestly does not matter what kind you use. It's just personal preference. I usually buy whatever is available or whatever I have on hand. You need tiles. You can use any shape or any size that you want. I like these hexagon ones. They're nice and thick. You can get cheaper ones. This sheet of them at Home Depot is like $13 or something. I decided it's worth the splurge just because they're quite a bit heavier. They also look nicer on the back, so you don't have to do anything with them. Some tiles will have like a rougher looking back, and they're kind of scratchy, so you're going to want to finish that. You could use like a piece of felt or something on it. With these they look nice on both sides. This side has a finish on it, so it is smoother. So I'm going to put my fabric on the rougher side, just so then I've already got a nice smooth side. Again, you can do whatever you like the best. That's just what I prefer. So when you get the tiles, they're the ones that just come a sheet like this from Home Depot. Pick out whatever. There's tons of sizes, shapes. You can get bigger ones if you want. Some people get the ones that are, like the subway tiles. What I recommend, if you're using them for pattern weights, find the heaviest ones that you can, just so that it keeps your patterns from moving. So let's go ahead and get started. You'll just peel these off, as many as you need. Sometimes. Good grief. Can't remember how many pieces of fabric I cut out. So I raided my scrap bin to get fabric, and then I just literally lay this down on the fabric. I have also, this time I didn't do it, but I have taken like a clear piece of plastic, like a cutting board, the flexible cutting boards, something you can see through a little bit, and I make my pattern out of this so that if I do want to fussy cut a cute little kitty out or something like that, it makes it easier to see. This time I just did it really quick and put it down and cut them out. So what we're going to start by doing is you're gonna need like a sponge brush for your Mod Podge, and you can see I've got this green cutting mat. This is my craft cutting mat. I'm putting it over top of my sewing one so I don't get glue all over it, because you will end up with glue, I promise you. So just some glue on here, and you're gonna you need a pretty thick layer, especially the first one. Just brush glue, make sure you get it all the way to the edges. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your fabric and just press it on. Line it up as best as you can. You might have to trim it up a little bit later if you didn't cut exactly straight or whatever. You can also put a little bit, that one's gonna need trimmed up. So just kind of press that on, use your finger and get all the air bubbles out. And then you're gonna I would probably, if you need to trim any up, see, I don't know if you can see it, I've got a tiny little bit right there. I would go ahead right now and do any trimming up that you need to. It's probably going to be easier now than later. I'm not sure, but that's what I would do. So I'm just going to take my scissors and trim up around the edges. Okay, so I've got that. Then what we're going to do is you're going to put a pretty thin layer. You don't want to go super thick on top because you're going to do multiple layers. but cover your fabric, and it will, the first coat will soak it in. So it's going to take a little bit more. Make sure that you get all the way to the edges and even go over the edges so that you're sealing in the edge of that fabric. If you need to take the tip of your brush and get a little bit under, and then you might have to take your fingernail or the side of your brush or something and press it down, the fabric down to it to make sure it seals. But you want to just have a pretty good coat all the way around that. And again, make sure you get the edges too. And you can see this side here just keeps wanting to pop up. So I'm just going to take my brush and kind of just keep poking it down. Okay. I'm going to just coat all the way around until it doesn't look very shiny right now. It's kind of, but it'll dry clear, I promise. So you'll do that with all of yours, and then you'll let it dry for a little while. And then come back to it and we'll do a second coat. So go ahead and get your first coat, put on all of them, and then we will come back when they're dry to finish up. Okay, so I've got my set of 6 all with the first coat on them. So now you're gonna wait. Now you just gotta wait for it to dry. So go have a cup of coffee or something. That's what I'm gonna do. And then come back and we're gonna do 3 or 4 coats. It really just depends. I just keep doing it until they feel like they're good and sealed and will hold up for me. So go take a break and then we will be back. Okay, so I have got 3 coats of the Mod Podge on all 6 of them. I didn't feel like we needed to record me putting Mod Podge on all of them. So I've got 3 coats on. So now what I'm going to do, you'll notice your edges are probably a little bit rough. So I just take a fine sandpaper and sand all of the edges on them. And then I'm going to do one more coat of Mod Podge, and that should be good for them. So yeah, just take your sandpaper, go around all of the edges, smooth them out, and then make sure as you're coating, you're getting with the Mod Podge around all of the edges. It kind of seals in the edges there. I have done the same process on these. I made this set of them that I have 2 years ago. They get dropped on the floor all the time. They get used every single day, and there's not a single thing wrong with any of them. And I made several. I've got a whole bowl full of them over here that I use. So I think as long as you take your time, make sure everything is sealed in, completely covered, they should hold up for quite a while for you. And they're a fun craft to do. Okay, so those are all pretty smooth. And like I said, I'm going to do one more coat, let those dry completely, and then we will be finished with them. And for your last coat, you want a fairly thick coat on it. I put quite a bit on it, and then you'll let it dry longer before you use it, but fairly thick just to make sure everything is completely sealed in. Okay, so that is my 4th coat on them. I'm gonna let these dry, and then I will be back to show you what they look like once they're completely dry. Okay, I have mine all finished. They're sealed. I know that some people like to cover them with epoxy, just a little layer of epoxy on the top. I don't feel like it's necessary. Like I said, I've got a whole bowl full of them that I made 2 years ago, and they have held up just perfectly fine with just the Mod Podge. So there are 3 of mine. And then the other 3. This little guy is my favorite. Isn't he adorable? And a Grinch. And a flower. So those are mine. Make sure you show us the ones that you've made, and I really hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. It's just a fun project that you can do quick and fairly inexpensive, and just something you can do with your kids or just by yourself. So have a good day. Thank you.